Winning Blueprint presents.
5 minutes or less. Cincinnati Bengals.
Welcome. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. This is the Cincinnati Bengals in 5 minutes or less. I got 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get started. So the high point of the season for the Cincinnati Bengals could be a lot of things, but to me, the one that jumps off the page is the Week 16 win at Pittsburgh that solidified you as a postseason participant. You went to Pittsburgh, you got it done in a place that you haven't won since 2009, against a team that you haven't beat since 2009. Steelers have beat you 5 times in a row until you went to Heinz Field and got a win, one that you needed desperately. You find a way to scratch and claw. You get 2 big turnovers from Ben Roethlisberger. One, a pick six by Leon Hall. The other, an interception by Reggie Nelson, setting up the game-winning field goal. Big win for the Cincinnati Bengals and the biggest of the season by far. That's the high point in the 2012 season for the Cincinnati Bengals. So you look at the low point for the Cincinnati Bengals in the 2012 season. And look, losing by 31 on opening week on Monday Night Football for all to see against the eventual Super Bowl champions in the Baltimore Ravens. Not fun. That doesn't feel good. Not good. Having a 4-game losing skid after starting the season 3-1. Not good. But nothing is worse than losing in the postseason. And here we are talking about losing in the same round of the playoffs, wild card weekend, to the same team, the Houston Texans, in a game that you should have been able to win. If Andy Dalton hits A.J. Green in stride, he's open, he's going to score a touchdown, he's in the end zone, he's got 2 steps on the defender, you win that football game. You played well enough to win. You didn't do some things in this game that could have had you in the lead to begin with, but doesn't matter. Had an opportunity, you didn't take advantage of it. You lose to the Texans once again for the 2nd consecutive season in wild card weekend, 19-13. That's the low point of the season for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now we get to free agency activity for the Cincinnati Bengals. And Bengals fans, want you to come close. Come on, closer. A little bit closer. Tell your owner to spend some money. Aggressive is what the Bengals should be in free agency. Aggressive. Extremely aggressive. You have upwards of $55 million to play with under the cap. Now that says one of 2 things to me. One, you draft really well, which the Bengals generally do. They usually have a crop of good young players coming into their team every single season, which allows them to not have to spend a lot of money in free agency. Good for you. That's a mark of a good franchise. You still made it to the postseason, even though you're not spending a lot of money, which means you're a good franchise. However, you want to stop losing in wild card weekend? You want to get over the hump? You need to go spend some money on some guys from other teams that are really good, that are young, that can come in and help you get over the hump. Spend some money. You have deficiencies at safety, at cornerback, at linebacker, at running back. You have positions of need. Go fill them with free agents. Stop being so cheap. We know the Browns are extremely cheap. Very frugal. Translation, cheap as hell. Go spend some money. Go find you some guys that can help you win football games. More football games when they matter. Lastly, state of the fan base. And if you're a fan of the Cincinnati Bengals, it's cautious optimism because you've seen this before. You've seen your coach, Marvin Lewis, take you to the postseason and lose in the first round. You've seen Andy Dalton have successful regular seasons, not get it done in the postseason. Now it's time for Marvin Lewis to take that next step. Now it's time for Andy Dalton to take that next step. Now it's time for your front office to take that next step. Spend some money so that you can get over the hump. It's time for you to become a real contender in the AFC. Not just to make it to the postseason, not to contend with the Ravens and the Steelers in the AFC North, but to actually be a contender to win the Super Bowl? Do you have a receiver that can go opposite of A.J. Green? All these are questions that you need to answer in the offseason. You need to take that next step. It's cautious optimism for the Cincinnati Bengals. And that's the Cincinnati Bengals in 5 minutes or less.
Cincinnati Bengals, 5 minutes or less.